Cancer affects everybody, whether it's having it yourself, like I did, or knowing a close friend or family member who has had it. Cancer has become an unfortunate fact of life for all of us. In my life, I've had my fair share of cancer. I was initially diagnosed with osteosarcoma in my left knee when I was 16 years old. They quickly did a complete knee replacement surgery, which left me with the same knee that most 65-year-old ex-football players have. After this surgery, I thought I was done with cancer, but my body had different plans in mind. The cancer ended up returning in my lungs. Much to my dismay, this wasn't an isolated incident. It reappeared again and again and again. 4 total times I've been told that I would need lung surgery to remove cancer. This was always surprising because I've always responded well to chemotherapy. It finally made sense when they found a 4-inch tumor lurking in my calf that had been seeding my lungs with tumors this entire time. So, we quickly amputated my leg and got me started back on chemotherapy. I endured 12 rounds of chemotherapy that I finished just a few short months ago, in case you couldn't tell from my awesome haircut. We have people speaking today that have gotten their degrees in psychology, art, and business. I feel like I spent the last 5 years getting my master's degree in hospital interior decorating. You could argue that I'm the most qualified to talk about cancer, seeing as I've had it 5 times over 5 years, or you could say I'm the least qualified, seeing as it took me 5 years to get rid of it. Being diagnosed with cancer is an interesting thing. You've received that god-awful news that everyone hopes they won't hear, but statistically probably will. You're shocked, horrified, you update Facebook, receive a heaping of condolences, Google your cancer, cry, then read some more, then cry a little more. You don't have a say whether or not this is happening to you. So here you are on the precipice where normalcy and comfort are part of the past, and your only option is to go toe-to-toe and brawl with cancer until you destroy every last malignant cell in your body. No retreat, no compromises. Throw out the odds. This isn't a drug trial that compares the survival rate of sample group X with control group Y. This is about one person who has found themselves in the most ancient of human conditions, a battle to the death. And as long as you have a 1 in 1 million chance, you will fight. You will fight tooth and nail until you are victorious. Sometimes life puts you in these serendipitous situations that can't really be explained. When I was first diagnosed, I met a young man named Jace. He was much younger, but everything with his diagnosis was very similar to mine. Same cancer, same treatment, same problems. It's cool having cancer at the same time as someone else because you're instantly really good friends because you're having these extremely unique experiences that only they can relate to. I'd come into his room and I'd be like, "Hey man, have you pooped recently?" He'd be like, "I haven't pooped in days." I'd be like, "Me too." You realize through having cancer that it's not a demographic. It's everybody. It's the entrepreneurs, the technologists, the executives. It's a vicious, terrible, unbiased disease. Jason and I finished treatment weeks apart. Entering remission with that young man was one of the greatest joys of my entire life. It was fantastic seeing him go from a bedridden cancer patient to the happy-go-lucky 8-year-old he should have been. After you finish treatment, you enter remission, which means you have no evidence of disease activity. Most people think that this means that they're done with cancer. They've gone to the edge of what they could endure, and since they've returned victorious, that they're done with cancer. But the truth is, the chemotherapy could have been widely ineffective, and you'll still feel exactly the same as someone who responded ideally. This is when you're at your highest risk of the cancer returning. The next time I heard from Jace was a call from his mother, letting me know that the cancer had returned, and he didn't have much time left. In the end, the cancer moved quickly, so it was only a few months before he passed away on December 7th of 2008. People often praise me. They say, "You're so strong." If I'm strong because I beat cancer, that implies that the people who didn't are in comparison less strong. I didn't fight any harder than Jace. For some arbitrary reason, my body responded better to chemotherapy than he did. I wasn't better. I was luckier. So now what? Now I'm here, and he's not. I remember shortly after his death, it was during the coldest, darkest months of the winter, and I was taking the light rail home from work, and I was huddled behind a pillar trying to get out of the freezing wind. And on this pillar was a light rail map, and it showed each of the different stops, and the stop I was at had a little sticker that said, "You are here. You are here." And I looked at it, and I stared at it for a solid 5 minutes, and I was left in tears, because I was here, and where was Jace? and I got angry. And anger can be an underrated emotion. Anger can motivate you. Anger destroys apathy. Sometimes you need to get upset, put your foot down, and say, this is not okay, and I'm going to do something about it. As I looked around the light rail, I saw the typical light rail crowd. The couple, the businessman, the student, and I saw the same thing there that I see in this room today. Potential. If you talk to anyone throughout human history and you say, in your wildest dreams, what are all the things you want? We have them all, not just a few, all of them. And what do? Sit on Facebook? Watch our lives pass us by one tweet at a time? For the time being, I am here. And only I can answer the question, what will my legacy be? If you can achieve all of your goals, dreams, and ambitions in your lifetime, then believe me when I say you're not thinking big enough. What if we made it our singular mission to help others and improve this world? Is there risk involved with helping others? Putting yourself out there? Donating your time or your money? Absolutely. But it's gotten to the point where the risk associated with not helping anyone is so much monumentally greater than any possible risk of action. So much so that to not make a conscious effort to help others and make this world a better place is morally reprehensible. Life is a battle. You learn that very quickly when you have cancer. But it's not just about cancer. Everyone's going through their own battles, whether it's depression, unhappiness, unemployment. I bet everyone in here is fighting some sort of battle on their own right now. And sometimes you have to fight your own battle before you can help others. A foundation came to me and asked me to write a letter to people recently diagnosed with cancer. This is what I came up with. Dear osteosarcoma patient, it's rare that life hands you a gift-wrapped opportunity to improve yourself. You probably feel otherwise. You're ready to be done with the endless doctor's appointments, chemotherapy, and surgeries. And you should be. Having cancer is extremely difficult. But believe me when I say that what you can gain from this experience is far greater than what you've lost. Most of the time, you don't have a say whether or not you're going through a problem like this. With any crisis, there's a lot of danger, but there's also a lot of opportunity. When staring cancer in the face, you learn who you are. Adversity reveals man to himself. You've been preparing yourself for this moment your entire life. You've been going to school, learning from your parents, watching TED Talks. This is your time to show the world how strong you really are. This adversity that you face is your time to show what you're made of. This letter is meant to help you throughout your journey with cancer. Just know you'll grow and change more than you expect, and you're now part of something bigger than yourself. Sincerely, Woody Roseland. Now you see, when I wrote this letter, I was first dealing with my amputation. And the more I worked on it, the more I realized I wasn't writing this letter to some hypothetical kid with cancer. I was writing this letter to myself. So I'll finish with this. Whenever you have the opportunity to help someone else, make the most out of it. Because most times when you end up helping others, you actually end up helping yourself. So never forget, you are here. What are you going to do about it? Thank you.